you are one of the nicest and well-spoken community leaders I've ever seen. They like today we have like we've seen a lot of people historically that has programmers in our community that has gotten into trouble because they are, well, in my words, a little bit of brilliant jerks that we have tolerated for a very long time in compute, like in our business, because that's just the way we accepted that programmers are a little bit. But like you are, in my opinion, like so well spoken and polite and nice, yet you still speak like a human being. Like you don't speak like an HR representative or something like that. And like I wonder if like is that something that where did I kind of like, I'm just kind of curious where that comes from. Do you have a philosophy related to this, or this is just like how you were brought up, or like why?
I think it's pretty effective.
What you like? So it's just like you've just found that this is the most effective communication form to have.
So when I was like, I don't know, like maybe 15 or something like this, I read this book. There's this ancient Chinese guy, Lao Tzu.
Yeah.
So he has this book about I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it in English, Tao Te Ching or something like this.
Yeah.
But it's like core premise is that if if you want to lead, you need to kind of step back, and if you like, I remember one passage which was like about how the strongest thing is water. Because
I love that.
the water doesn't actually, like, water can break through stone or anything because it is flexible.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think about like convincing people. You can't really like convince people by jumping on them, but if you're flexible enough and you can try to look at things from like different point of view, you might actually find something that is like not the way you thought like that issue was, but you can also find a way to frame whatever you're trying to frame from so that it can be seen from their perspective. And I think that's more kind of valuable than just insisting your opinion.
Yeah, Jamoko in the chat says water is fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield.
Yep.
As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong. That is so good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, like I posted the book in chat. It's by Lao Tzu. You'll find it if googling it. It's super. This is an incredibly classic book. I haven't read it, but I sure as hell will now. But how do you? There was another question that says something about what you do when you're angry, which is very pertinent, and like when it comes to Twitter. Like I'm kind of like I have this whenever Twitter makes me angry so often that it seems like I sometimes just have to like stop myself from actually engaging. But you have like as a person in the position you have in the React community, like sometimes you don't have the luxury that I have of not engaging. Sometimes you have to meet. What are your Twitter anger management techniques? Is basically what I'm asking.
I don't think I get angry actually like much. I think it's usually like I do get upset sometimes. It's not like why would I be angry? Like it's more about like I feel like I have some like kind of things that really kind of bring me down. I think like when people question like the motivation for something, even if like you try really hard to explain like what the motivation is, but then they're
Yeah.
like second guess it, or they just like when people talk, oh, like they don't care about something, like they are like me,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just like somebody reading it. It's just frustrating. Like it's especially if you put a lot of effort into something and then people are like, they don't care about it at all.
Yeah, basically
It's
dehumanizing the React team or dehumanizing like the hard work of people involved in doing this thing.
Yeah, I think it's just very. I mean, I get where it's coming from. Like, I can understand the frustration where there is. Yeah, so I think like the way I try to approach it is just by like trying to understand where they're coming from, which is like in case of React, like maybe there's a community of like early adopters who like wanted to use React, and at some point now it's like mainstream, and now like there are people who don't actually want to use it, but they kind of have to because their like CDO decided to use it,
Yeah.
or they just can't find a job that doesn't involve doing React and stuff like this. And from that point of view, it's understandable that they're just frustrated because they don't have the power in that decision. And then,
Sure.
of course, like if we like screw up, or like we do something that clashes with like their plans or their conceptions about how it should work, it's totally understandable why they would be frustrated. And I think coming at it from this perspective like reframes it very differently. Like then I can try to help like as much as I can, but at some point it's understandable that they might be upset, and it's like it's just the way it is.